bumping away, streaming for all to see. El Cachorro, El Cachorro. We should draw superheroes here today for you and me. El Cachorro, El Cachorro.
So the next one is Mutant Liberation Begins. So it starts off with a scene. There's something going on with a Ferris wheel. And there's fire trying to save some kid that's stuck in there. She ends up catching the kid but the Ferris wheel starts falling. All of a sudden, someone catches it, puts it back in its place, and the news reporters are like, "Oh my God, is that him?" And you kind of see Magneto float, and then floats away. So we keep getting these news footages showing Magneto's doing all these heroic things, helping mutants, helping humans. And you see Scott, so kind of Scott and Jean watching, and Scott's like, "I don't understand, why didn't Professor trust me? Why is he putting Magneto in charge?" And Jean's even like, "Well, maybe this is just saying that he's saying it's okay for us to leave. He's giving you the okay to go raise your family," which I don't think she was pregnant at the time he died, so I don't remember that if she was. Then the rest of the team's also talking about should they trust Magneto, and like the friend of the enemy, make your enemy your friend is the best way to just get rid of your enemy. Then Rogue's kind of like, well, y'all, and Rogue's the one kind of sympathetic towards him. She even refers to him as Eric. Because, hey, I had, maybe we should give Eric a chance. Like, might not all of us have, some of us had dirty past it too. I thought it was interesting she called him Eric. Only one that actually referred to him by name. And so we get the same, pretty much where Cyclops says he's not leaving the team. He's not leaving the team with Magneto because he doesn't trust Magneto, so he's willing to stick around. Jean's not too happy about that. Then we get a scene with Jean and Storm bonding. See the old Marvel Girl costume from the Phoenix Saga. And she even brings up some of the stuff they just, in case you haven't seen the show, they're trying to give you from that time we fought on the blue side of the moon, where I was possessed by a intergalactic entity that was hell-bent on. It's like, okay, we get it. You're trying to make sure if you didn't watch the show, you kind of tell you what was going on. So that was kind of funny how they did some info dumps at some points. Like, this is this person's powers. Remember that time that this happened? I was possessed by. It's like, okay, a little overkill, but they have the bond where she's hoping the kid's a normal human, so it doesn't have to deal with everything a mutant goes through, and she's worried about everything. So there's the Storm and Jean bond. Then we have a scene at night where Rogue goes into the study where Magneto is and starts trying to talk him up, saying, hey, you just got to earn their trust and you got to show them that you are. And we get the first hint and we get a little hint where he goes to take off her glove to touch her hand of a Magneto and Rogue relationship. And she says, you got to keep that secret. That was a long time ago. That cat can't come out of the bag. So here we get the Magneto-Rogue relationship. I'm not sure if they've done. I think they may have touched upon it somewhere in the normal kind of comic line, but that was a thing in the Age of Apocalypse. Rogue and Magneto were an item because Magneto could cover his skin with an electromagnetic shield, so he could technically touch Rogue without her taking his powers. Because as long as he was able to put that little shield, that slight force field around him. So they did have a relationship, at least in the Age of Apocalypse, I know for sure. But we get a taste that there's something has happened. They've been connected together at some point in the past. So another comic storyline worked in there. Then the UN shows up with their helicopters and their guns, and they're coming for Magneto. And he says, "Hey, all right, if I go to this trial and I vindicate myself, will you guys come to trust me?" So he ends up giving himself up. So he goes on trial, and we're getting the trial of Magneto. Another comic book storyline right there. That also happened after he took over the X-Men after Xavier left. So that was pretty much right. So they're keeping up with that whole thing. So they pretty much follow that. They're doing that little storyline right there all together. So that was awesome. So while he's on trial, we see the Friends of Humanity in a van, and one of them's suiting up in the Executioner outfit, which the Executioner, I know about that he was in the comics. I don't remember much. I don't know if I read those ones. I thought he may have been a mutant in the comics. Maybe, but maybe I could be wrong about that. I don't really know much about the Executioner. I've seen him before. So he's the leader of the Friends of Humanity guys is going to be the Executioner. So he's putting on all the armor, and he's got all the weapons, and he's got we seen him making a special gun at the end of the last episode. The special weapon. So he's like, you guys got to cause the distraction. I got to buy me some time. I have one shot. I can only get one shot. So then we get the part where they're kind of like accusing Magneto of all these crimes. And then Magneto kind of gives a speech, and he doesn't bring up, so they probably don't want to talk about some of this stuff. And well, there's a couple of reasons why. So obviously you don't want to talk about the Holocaust, as well as you got to be careful, with the Jewish stuff too right now with what's going on over there too. So he's also talking about, well, my people were hunted because we called God by a different name, and then my people turned on and joined with those people and were hunting me because I was a mutant. So it kind of hinted about his Holocaust background. Didn't go through all the stuff that all his stuff he's done is because he was acting out on behalf of his people, the mutants. So he has a big speech, which I'm pretty sure some of the people are trying to claim that's woke. No, this is not what mutants have always been about, and the Friends of Humanity have always been hating on the mutants. So you guys are the Friends of Humanity for the people that are going to make that as jumps, but cause everything's political these days on the whiny shit. But it's famous speech about the mutant human relationships kind of stuff. So they're giving us a big speech. Well, those might be good words, but do you really think that heals for everyone from your past and all this stuff? So it don't look like the trial's going well for him. Then the protesters attack. They start barging their way in. They said they're after Magneto and the judges. And they're like, what do we do? He's like, it's because you're giving me a fair trial. So now they hate you. There's some. I'm going to try and stay away from that stuff. There is stuff that ties into modern stuff from here that's so ironic, and it fits. But I'll dodge those storylines. So Storm is left behind to guard the judges and Magneto. Cyclops and the rest of the team that's there go to help the guards with the protesters. So they're doing their best at doing that. So they are trying to put up a little barrier there, and I believe this is where... Yeah. The best line in the 2 episodes. This is the best part of the first 2 episodes. I wish I should have recorded this. I would have played this clip and took my chances on getting copyrighted. So Wolverine's like, Jean, we got to get there. We got to help. She goes, Logan, he's coming. Like, shh, who? Apocalypse? The baby! That line just got me so mad. Hey, oh, crap. Like, she telepasses the keys and a jacket right into his hands. His jacket and his keys right into his hands. But it's like, who? Apocalypse? The baby, you idiot! So that was definitely the best line and the best little scene in the whole episode, just because that one was hilarious. So we cut back, and then the Executioner, Cyclops kind of uses his blast to shoot up some stuff. The Executioner is able to break through it all, and he starts taking them all out. He's absolutely this normal human with this body armor on, and all of a sudden is this badass fighter. He's taking everybody out. Shoots them all with that. He's able to do a little dodge move to flip him around behind Bishop, puts him in the collar, and then shoots him in the back so he can't absorb it. So Cyclops starts trying to shoot him with his optic blast, and he's deflecting it with the pole. Then he's able to fling the pole and knock Scott's visor off, so Scott's trying to fight him without his eyes open. So obviously Cyclops starts getting his ass whooped because he's blind. He's trying to fight blind. And he gets to the part where he's like, your kind always whines about how rough they got it. It's all your whine. So you get the blaster up the Cyclops' face, getting ready to kill Cyclops. All of a sudden, Lady Deathstrike comes in and starts attacking him. And then Lady Deathstrike turns into Colossus. The hip absorb the hits, and then turns into Psylocke. Obviously, it's Morph. But it's cool to get some more character cameos there. Throw in Lady Deathstrike, Colossus, and Psylocke into the episode, into the show. Cyclops puts his visor on. That's when Jean contacts him. He's like, "You're in pain." I'm in labor. And so it's like, well, Jean needs me in the hospital. So it's kind of like, it's my baby kid. I gotta go. So Storm orders Rogue to fly Cyclops to the hospital, and that she and Magneto will protect the judges. Everybody's like, "Can you trust him?" He's like, "We have no choice." So she tells the judges, she starts ordering people around. The judges kind of get on her. She's like, judges go, "Who gives you the right?" He's like, "I'm the person that's going to make sure you live. So do what I say." And she has the guards free Magneto. And then the protesters all come in, and Magneto does his powers to kind of put these like giant metal sword pillar things in the ground, and Storm uses her lightning powers like to make an electricity cage so they're stuck. So while she's doing that, the Executioner comes in. He starts aiming at Magneto. Storm sees it as he's firing. She flies down to save Magneto, and she takes the hit herself. So Storm gets shot. And so the Magneto pulls this big metal thing off the thing. He starts picking. Here's the thing: you don't attack the Master of Magnetism wearing a suit made of some kind of titanium armor. It's not usually the smartest move. Wow, this video is going long. So he starts pounding him against the ground. Kind of reminds me of the Hawk Loki scene. He's like boom, 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 boom. Then pins him against the knocks all his weapons off. Pins him against the big metal seal bell thing, whatever it's supposed to be, symbol. And it brings him up there, and he's got this fancy gun. He's looking at the gun, and you see Storm trying to just crawling and falling, and she's like tries to reach out. She's like, I can't feel the breeze. I can't feel anything. So she can't use her powers. So Magneto starts raging. So this starts Magneto raging. Because look what you've done. Look at what all you have done. But the judge's like, we had nothing to do with this. This is not what we wanted. Because look what you've done to Storm. Look what you've done to one of my people. So he takes all the judges and he rips their whole thing off the ground, and he has the guy, and they start floating up in the sky, way up in the top of the stratosphere. So everybody's like, he's going to kill everybody. He goes, and that's where he starts getting, so we get another Magneto speech of, because this is, I would destroy you. This is where I would destroy you for what you've done. And I destroy all of you. But my friend has asked me to take another way. He would ask me to look at the Earth from this view, and that's why I'm asking you to look at the Earth from this view. Let's see that we can work together. So he does this awesome speech. While they're doing that, you keep seeing, we're also going to see where the Doctor doesn't want to deliver the Jean's baby because he doesn't want to do mutant bursts because these mutants lose their power, can go crazy with their powers, and it's too dangerous. So that's where they bring up like, Rogue, can you absorb his memory, his mind on how to do Doctor shit? The Doctor's like, do what? Wait, what? What? Excuse me? So she touches the Doctor, and she kind of gets all his medical knowledge and starts ordering nurses and stuff around. So she starts delivering the baby. So Magneto's doing the speech, and he keeps showing interesting shots of Jean in labor and pain, which is kind of weird because it's like, okay, so this definitely is something you don't think you'd show in a kid's show, is like a woman like grimacing in pain. So I thought, so that definitely feels like it's obviously meant for the audience that grew up on the show. So he gives a big speech on how he's like, I'm trying to do better for him. Don't make me fail. And then they lower them all to the ground. The baby is born. And this might be a part that might actually cause some little things. So they have not decided on a name until right now. So Cyclops, he needs a name. So like Nathan Summers. And Jean's like Nathan Charles Summers. The K, in the comics, it's not his name. It's Nathan Christopher Summers in the comics. It's just the middle name. It'll be okay. I get it makes sense in the context of the show and why they would do that. So I totally makes sense on the name change. So I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Does it, so I give them a pass. It's just the middle name's not a big deal. And Wolverine's watching them have their little moment. Next thing you know, it cuts to the scene from the doorway that he's standing in, and he's gone. So Wolverine obviously, depressed because Jean and Cyclops have a kid. Like, has he got not gotten? They're married also in the show. They're obviously her name is Summers, so they're married in the show. It's like, come on, dude, she's a married woman. What the hell you? Damn, Logan's a creepy dude, man. He keeps going after a married woman. I mean, sorry, you Wolverine fans. Then we see this then Magneto and Cyclops have the moment where they say, "Yeah, we're making preparations to leave." So Xavier trusts you. I trust Xavier. That's all it works. So they have their little moment and stuff like that. Then we see Hank the Beast analyzing Storm's blood to see what happened to her, and that's when we found out that the gun. We kind of, if you pay attention, you kind of notice it. So they'd use the radiation that the collars used to suppress powers. So that's what he used as energy for the weapon. So it was a pure shot of that radiation. So he said it looks like the effects are permanent. So saying she's lost her powers for good. Jean kind of gives her, says, "Oh, we're not leaving. We'll be here for you." And she starts talking all of a sudden. And this was like really well done for a cartoon even. So you just have Storm. So she's hugging Storm and he's just looking at Storm's face. And as Jean's talking, it just drowns out to this buzz of nothing. The Storm's like showing that Storm's like drowning her out, like out of shock. That was really good. That's like something you'd see in like a movie or something like that. Being done, showing that. So I thought that was well done. And then we also have another scene between Rogue and Magneto, where Rogue takes off her gloves and her and Magneto touch hands. So kind of like they're rekindling a little bit. When she walks out, you just see around the hallway. There's Gambit was kind of standing there holding the card, and he just drops the card, and he's got this look on his face. So we have a love triangle going. So we're gonna have a little love triangle there going. Storm. So Jean pretty much said, "We'll stay. We're gonna stay. We're gonna stay until we fix this." And Storm then leaves a letter and she leaves. She can't be there. She doesn't feel right there anymore. So we're doing the whole Storm lose her powers. Another comic book storyline. So in the comics, it was what was the name of the organization? It was a government organization. They used a weapon made by Forge to take her powers. Just Storm also had a little fling with Forges around that time too. So she ends up getting her. I think she's pretty sure she did something. I'm pretty sure Forge found a way to get her powers back. So will they bring Forge in? Is Forge going to show back up to get? So is that how Storm gets her powers back in the show? Is going to be is Forge going to do something? In the comics, she didn't leave the team. She tried to be a human leader. She was the leader of the team, so she tried to run the team as a human without her powers. But she still was the leader. But will we get Forge? So they have the Rogue and Sabretooth, Rogue and Magneto scene. So then Wolverines hang out in the tree all depressed, and Morph shows up with some chips and some beers. Turns into Sabretooth to kind of, get Wolverine kind of, that's a happy, cheer up Wolverine. Then we get Jean's reading like the letter, and then we get, she's not going to leave. She'll be right back. And all of a sudden the doorbell rings. See, there she is. Opens up the door, and there's another Jean. She goes, "I need the X-Men." And Scott's like, looked down at his kid. Jean? It's really, he's looking at the baby. And looked it up. He thought he would look back. Jean's standing right behind him with like that. And Scott's like, "Jean?" So, that obviously, which I heard was kind of in the show anyways, brings in Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen, is this the real Jean? Is this the clone Jean? Is that Jean the real Jean? Or is she the clone? She had telepathic powers. Wolverine thought she was also Jean, so he could smell her. So either they're going to give Madeline Pryor super Jean clones syndrome here, which she wasn't in the comics. She was just a doppelganger. She just looked like Jean. Nobody thought which is really weird because nobody really thought, oh wow, you just look like really, really so much like Jean. But it's just a coincidence that you look just like Jean Grey. But are they going to give her Jean's power? So if Madeline's the one that's been there, and because Madeline technically is the mother of Nathan, of the kid. So if the one that's been there the whole time is Madeline, that obviously would mean that she's fooled Cyclops, she's fooled Wolverine, she's had telekinesis powers. Which at the time Madeline didn't have powers. She develops powers as she turns into the Goblin Queen, which also could tie into like all the gravestones that was in Jean's Cerebrovision, if it was the real Jean or not. So there's like I don't know where they're going with that one. I know we're getting Madeline Pryor, and we're getting the Goblin Queen, who was a Sinister clone, by the way. So obviously it brings in Sinister, who by the way was hinted at. One of the new scenes of the intro is with Morph, and it's kind of hints about has him like surrounded by Sinister stuff, which Sinister is the one that also brought Morph back from the dead. So wow, so many great stuff in this. Like I said, the trial of Magneto taking over the team, Madeline Pryor, Storm losing her powers. These are like some of the like bigger X-Men comic book storylines. They're like started all of this in just these first 2 episodes. Like bam, bam, bam. We're just throwing you a bunch of comic book gooseberries, baby. Throwing all these good stuff at you. Genosha's brought up even. The island nation of Genosha, the mutant nation of because I forgot to mention that. So one of the scenes where Magneto was doing a lot of good stuff at the beginning. There's the Friends of Humanity had like caught the Morlocks. And they're like, why are you doing this? Like, we're living down here where we're no threat to you. We stay in your gut. It's like, you don't even deserve to be down here. So Magneto comes and he saves them. It's like, how dare you? It's like, they're living in your filth, and you're still not happy with that. So that's where he comes out. So he's like, so when he comes back, he's like, I made plans. I'm using some of the Xavier's finances I've inherited to send the Morlocks to the mutant island Genosha. Like, why the hell haven't you guys done this for them before? It's like, he makes a great point. He's like, I'm surprised that you nor Xavier has already done this for them. It's like, get them out of the sewers, send them to help them get to Genosha so they have a better life. I'm not gonna lie, Magneto's kind of right about that one. So we're getting the whole mutant island of Genosha, and they're working on letting them join the United Nations. So I know the Genosha is the big story. That's the home of the mutants in the comics. So we're getting the Genosha storyline. So, I mean, they're doing a great job of mixing a lot of comic book stuff into the show. And like I said, did a good job with a lot of the characters. Like, some of the voices you have to get used to. Some of the voices are going to be different, but I don't think they're terrible. As I said, I think the person doing Rogue's really good. I think the person doing Jean's doing a fine job. She reminds me of someone. I just can't place it. Some actress I've seen before. So Jean kind of definitely reminds me of someone. But it's a great start. Super psyched. This is a 9, baby. Straight 9. It's hard to go higher than that. Like I didn't make a video for Dune. Dune's like a 9.5. So Dune is like an amazing movie. So I would say Dune 2 I mean. Great start. This video is amazingly long, so no one's going to watch it. Maybe I'll cut it into 2 parts just to do each episode. Maybe I have to do that. Tune in for episode 3 next week. Till then, Cachorro out.